If somebody pitches you a packaging solution that does this, fire them. You ever come across a brand that just like, it's like nice, it just hits all the marks with colors, fonts, placement, all that stuff? We found one today. Today we're unboxing the Pathfinder beverage. I think it's a beverage, right? There's a beverage and there's like a spirit. The Pathfinder Hemp and Root brand. If this is your first time on the BoxBuilder Breakdown, thanks for coming by. I'm Jeremy, the Box Builder. And what we do here is we order direct-to-consumer brands and I unbox them and give you my live stream of consciousness about what I see. And as I mentioned in the intro, branding is something we see a lot and we pay a lot of attention to. And this one, the branding is chef's kiss. I love it. And as an added bonus, these guys are, full disclosure, these guys are referred to us and we're gonna do some, I think, optimizing of their packaging. But currently they're using a product that many of you may have been targeted ad-wise by. It's called Whale Pod, which is a sort of a stock box program for what looks like cans and for direct-to-consumer. I've wanted to put my hands on this stuff, but I just haven't thought about buying it. This isn't a plug for them because I think we may get into some things that I would improve upon, respectfully. But I know they've been out there and we're gonna dig into it and see what we have. We have a few form factors here. We have their, the Spirits, which is the big bottle of elixir. We have the 4-count can direct-to-consumer shipper. And then we have the, I think this is 24-count can shipper. And I believe all three of these are a Whale Pod variety. I could be wrong, but I think that's what we're looking at. So let's dig in and you guys will see why I'm so happy with the branding. I think what we'll do first are the cans because I love cans. And what we'll do second is the bottle because that makes sense to me. So first things first, let's do the 4-pack. One thing to note is based on the label, these are what used to be called SIOC, which is now called SIPP for Amazon. It used to be ships in own container. Now it is ships in product packaging. And if the product is dry and less than 50 pounds, you can do what's called a self-test or self-assessment. And that's outlined on Amazon's website where you do certain drops on certain panels. Pretty much a standard ISTA drop test. But if it is liquid or over 50 pounds or fragile, you have to send it off to a lab. And we just actually are doing this with another one of our customers that uses our packaging. And I think the quote we got was $1,500 for liquid products under 50 pounds because you have to test 5 of the pack size to do it. But what that does is it cuts down on your fulfillment costs with FBA because they don't have to put it in an overbox. They literally ship it in the product packaging that you have. In fact, it says right here, do not overbox or unbox sellable units. And I'll show that to the top camera here too. Basically Amazon being like, all right, we trust you for this. I'm sure that they had to get an outside lab to do it, to provide us with data that shows that these will survive, and obviously they did survive. But yeah, that's an aside. If you have questions about SIPP, we're happy to answer it. A lot of information's out there on Google, but a lot of the Amazon information doesn't directly connect to who can do that testing for you. We are not a certified ISTA lab yet. So if you come to us, we will refer to one of our partners that we don't get kickbacks from or any of that. We just trust them to do the work. Anyways, let's dive in. 4-pack. One of the things I noticed here is there's only tape on one side. So I believe this to be a reverse tuck, top and bottom, but there's only tape on one side. So from a branding perspective, branded tape is good. For brands that have like really kick-ass branding, I want to see more branding on the box. Actually, I want to see branding that's more like this. But they have made a choice. I don't know, we haven't dug into specifics yet with them about not going with printed boxes for these because of a number of reasons. So reverse tuck, reverse just means they're on different sides. If it was a straight tuck, these would be on the same side. We've used this for a ton of beverage brands. It's a good design. And for something this lightweight, B-Flute is fine. These are B-Flute Craft. The Negroni Zone, yeah, I just love it. So they took like they took like Twilight Zone and mixed it with sort of like, I said to the brand, like Old English Apothecary, and you'll see what I mean here. Like, look at that. That's like really fantastic branding. I love it. I love it. The eye, the text, the scrolling. This is like I said before, it's good branding. Okay, enough of that, Jeremy, put it away. Cans appear to be digitally printed and digitally embellished, which is something we don't see a ton of. And by digitally embellished, I mean, you can see, let me see if I can capture that like sheen in the gold. I'm not sure if that's gonna show up, but right in here, there is gold ink, or at least it appears to be gold, which on bright cans, the silverback cans, maybe you can do that with digital ink, but usually digital inks are so opaque that you can't get the behind the ink substrate to really show through. So I don't know. Feels digital. It doesn't look like there's spot varnish, but the fact that the black is so dense kind of gives it a little texture. I haven't tried these yet, but I will as soon as we get off camera, because I have a pouch in right now and that will ruin the experience. But yeah, okay. Enough about cans, even though you guys know that I am fascinated with cans. Let's get in here. So here's how this was sent to us. And based on the size, I'm not sure, but I think this insert packaging system is probably made for the 8.4 ounce can, and this is a 6.8 ounce can, so it's just a tiny bit smaller. So there's a little bit of room, but these aren't dented, they're not popped. So, I mean, this thing did its job. Granted, they're not super heavy, but this insert did its job. We have a B-flute partition set, and we call these an air cell. So this comes like this, you fold it over, and then this goes around the cans. This is in C-flute, B-flute, B-flute, C-flute, different flutes. Not that it matters. Has anyone ever seen a flute gauge? That's sort of the old school thing. I don't see them that much, but they're these little credit card size things. I wish I had one that have 4 sides. It's like E flute, B flute, A flute, or C flute, and then like F flute, or maybe some other flute. But they're handy if you don't have an exact understanding of flutes. Anyways, this one worked. I'd like to see more branding on it, but here you go. Let's give this one, I actually got scrutiny, I got feedback from Scott Allman, the father of our structural designer, that I need to be more restrictive about giving 4 and 5 flutes because I've been a little nice. So we're gonna give that 3 flutes. We need to have a bell curve of results, and I think I'm too nice, so I push everybody into the 3, 4, 5. So you're gonna start seeing some 2s, okay? You're gonna start seeing some 2s. Anyways, let's get into the 24 pack. This appears to be a similar tuck top and bottom. We've got tape on this side, but no tape on this side. So that lock, pretty trusting of this lock. It's a lot of tape to tape all the sides, but I mean, it worked, right? So I'm just thinking of de-risking by adding tape, but adding tape adds time, and adds time adds money. And when you're selling things direct to consumer, especially beverages, not a lot of money to go around. So I get why the brand decided to just roll the dice, and I'm sure they tested it and then only tape one side. Okay, so we have sort of the same thing on repeat here times 6. We got the collateral here. I should say we bought some of this and they sent us some of this. I don't remember which ones we bought and which ones they sent us. I think we bought the 4-pack and then they sent us these 2. Or maybe I bought those and they sent us this. I don't remember. But for legal reasons, I have to say that we didn't buy all of this. They sent some of it. Okay. Good use of the minor flaps. Major flaps. So what I like to see, what we saw on this, is the use of the minor flaps and the major flaps to form a solid base. On this one, if you think of it as the same structure, all of this material here that lives inside of these flaps is scrap. So this material was paid for. It's actually a mirror image of this side. What I like to see, because you're not paying extra for it, is that major flap to come over. So it would be minors, front major, back major, and that gives you an extra thickness of, in this case, B flute, that you're not really paying more for. And In some cases, you can print on it and it would be inside print, outside print technically, but with inside print sort of moment, if that makes any sense. Sometimes we'll do that on mailers and I talk about it all the time. But if you envision this flap coming over, you open this one and this flap has print on it, it would have been the same side as this. And although these are not printed, it would have been a nice branding moment to include on the structure so that the option was there. And again, it doesn't cost you any extra because all that material just went up the scrap flue. Okay, they're using probably the identical structures for the internal packaging here as they did on the 4-pack, which we love to see. We always talk about modular designs because especially when you're talking about stock cans, the protected packaging can just be a system to be used by a fixed count. So in this case, it's a 4 count. You could do that with 2, you could do that with 4, 6, 8, whatever it is. You can build systems that scale across that factor. So in this case, they use the 4 as the primary pack size, and then they just 6X it. So this is the same thing again. Boom. We should have like a ticker that ticks off like boop, boop, boop while I'm unpacking this because it's like probably painful for everybody to watch. Anyways, okay, let's go to the bottom. Let's see if the second major flap is moving. It is. Okay, so I'm wondering if this could have been done on the top and you would have had that extra layer. None of these cans appear to be dented, so you didn't need it. But in some lanes, in some instances where things get a little rough, you might have wanted it. But this is what I was trying to say. So as you're, picture this as the top, right? You got branding here, you could have branding here, and then you could have branding here. In fact, there's a pretty famous box that we did with Recess that uses all of those flaps, and it makes like a nice story as you're unboxing it. Anyways, that's what I was talking about. I should have just flipped it over and shown you, but that's what I wanted to see on the top. Let's do that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that one, I'm gonna say 3 as well, no branding. Granted, these are stock items. I don't know if they offer branding or not. I'm sure that they could facilitate that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give that a 3. Okay, let's go to this one. This one is their Spirit non-alcoholic elixir one. I really gotta figure out how to describe that better because I sound kind of inexperienced when I say that. Okay, I like this. Not a great sound. That's not really what you want to hear. We'll get into that, but I like the branding on the outside. White and black on craft. This is E-flute, which E-flute as an outer for shipping glass is very ballsy because what you're giving up structurally on the outside, you have to make up on the inside with added materials. And in this case, for this type of artwork, there's really no advantage to getting better print with E-flute because you could get just as good a print with B-flute as in boy, and you'd get the structural advantage. There's a little bit of a downside because B-flute is twice as thick as E-flute, so shipping it a long distance can penalize you. So maybe that's why they've done this, to decrease shipping costs, because maybe they ship from one location all over the country, or I don't know, but that's one consideration. But I do not recommend using E-flute shipping glass direct to consumer, but it did arrive without getting damaged. So let's dig in. We have a straight tuck, kind of like I was talking about. It's on the same side, straight tuck, tuck top and bottom. Why am I doing this like this? Why am I opening it like this? Nobody would ever open it like this. Let's do it like a normal human person would. So you get it, you're like, oh, this is cool, let's open it. And then there's this little lock in here, boom, boom. You've got the color ramps. The registration is actually pretty dialed. Let me see if I can show you that. So I don't know how good the resolution is real close, but you can see the black and the white. Maybe you could zoom in on that. The black and the white are real close. Like just a gnat's hair away. Actually, that's like a 30-second, but it's pretty close. You've got this collateral for recipes. The branding is just like, I mean, this is 10 out of 10 branding, guys. 10 out of 10. I love it. Craft, or brown with the red. So this is a sort of void fill for the top, and it braces the bottle. And then we've got this thing. This is a tube. It's a tube that fits around the bottle. Pretty good. This is a glued tube. that probably acts as a shroud inside of the outer, keep the shards of glass that will inevitably happen when this breaks from shooting outside of the box. This is a very strong bottle, and it arrived fine. I would never in 1,000 years design this. Whoever made this, I don't know if it was Whale Pod or somebody else, please DM me on LinkedIn or Instagram and tell me what this is, because I want to learn why these choices were made, because I'm not assuming my way is correct or better. I'm assuming that I don't understand it, and I want you to tell me what happened. I don't know if this is a separate piece or not. You see that? Let's open it from the bottom. Now we're doing it like a professional, not a normal person. This is another good use of the scrap. So this goes into the bottom. Same thing on the top. But here's a telltale sign that something's not ideal. This is blown out. This E-flute little flap here is blown out, and you can see all the deformation of this thing. It's holding on for dear life because this bottle was just jackhammering on both ends of this thing, up and down, up and down. We have a design for a customer we call the trampoline, except in that design, it's actually not a real trampoline. The bottle isn't jumping, it's secured, but we use that as a term to describe some of the bottom attachments we have. So we have E-flute shipper, E-flute meaningless sleeve contraption thing inside of a box that is oversized and probably not actually allowed in the parcel system. It's possible this is 200E, but if you just go Google USPS, FedEx, all of those requirements, I do not think you will find 32 ECT anywhere in there unless it is a very light product that is durable. I'm sweating because I don't want to talk shit. Delete that or bleep that out. I don't want to talk shit about these guys, but they did it to themselves, not the brand, the people that designed this. I'm gonna give this 2 flutes because the branding is like really killer and the print looks great. I think we should have beefed this up, made it smaller, and done a dedicated internal structural protector, because this feels like maybe this is a stock die line that somebody bought print plates for to print on. But honestly, the risk of having this versus buying dedicated design tooling to ship this beautiful bottle, I think you should get a custom one. And maybe that's why they're here now. We didn't talk about breakage, and I wouldn't share that if we did, but none of this stuff arrived broken, which is sort of the crapshoot of all this. Like, you can have 10,000 shipments a week and none of them show up broken, and you may just get lucky, or you can have 10,000 shipments a week and 50% of them show up broken. We try to go into the zero breakage realm because returns and breakage are expensive, and we don't want our customers to ever have to deal with that because something we designed was insufficient. So anyways, love this brand, love the branding. Everyone we've talked to over there has been 10 of 10, very cool. Cans, bottles, all of this is like very premium feeling. The branding, I can't say enough about it. If you know who branded this or who did the product, link or tag them, because they are a high five, big time high five. Okay, so yeah, we got 2 flutes, and yeah, that was Pathfinder, the Pathfinder. If this is your first time on the BoxBuilder Breakdown, thanks for stopping by. Please head over to YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. Most of you watch it and don't. Arlene, my mother-in-law, Anthony, my dad, Marsha, my mom. You guys watch it, thank you. And to everybody that does and doesn't like it, why? Why would you do that to me? I never did anything to you. Why wouldn't you just like hit the button? Just like it. Tell your friends. That's it. Thanks for stopping by. E-flute to ship. This is 24 ounces of fluid plus a pound of glass. This is 40 ounces of glass. That's ridiculous that it showed up even close to not blown out. Oh, sorry, we're still recording. GoPro, turn off.